Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Cupcake coming with another Avengers EndGame Deadpool, what I call it here, video. Today we're going over who I think will die or survive in Avengers EndGame. It is Friday when I'm uploading this. I know that I have proof that I have not seen the film yet. If you join the Discord, I can send it to you. But yeah, I have not seen the film by any means yet. I have not had nobody leak it to me. I've been very careful with the leaks. So, yeah, I have not seen it. We got some Avengers LTM in the background right here. But, yeah. Anyways. We're going to get going here. Alright. But, what we're going to do here is we're going to go over who I think will die or survive, as I said in the intro there, pretty much. We're going to start off right now. Iron Man. I think that Tony, this actor, has maybe been throwing us off the whole time, lying to us, telling us that he wants out. I think he still doesn't want necessarily out. I think he wants a smaller role for a while, and doesn't have to have so many more solo films and all that kind of stuff. He might take a back seat, if you will. I think Tony Stark will survive. What's going to happen to Tony is that, alright, if you've seen any of the leaks going back to Avengers, the original Avengers movie, where the Centauri are attacking all that, I think the Skrulls secretly got through the wormhole with the Centauri and replaced Tony Stark and capture him. Okay, because that's a big face. They think it's Tony and all that. And then all of a sudden he has these Avengers contacting him like, okay, then they have to infiltrate it because that's basically what the Skrulls do. It's their job in a way. And so you have it where he's infiltrated the Avengers, and now he's realized, holy crap, I'm fighting freaking Thanos. This is not what I signed on for. And all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, anyways, that's kind of what's going to happen with that. But, basically you have it, though, where Tony gets replaced. The Skrull dies. Alright, so everyone thinks Tony made this sacrifice and all that. At the end of the movie, they found out that, well, they don't find out, but the Skrull dies, his body's unrecoverable, and Tony is dead. And everyone's going to believe it, too. But then we find out, in a post-credit scene, that Tony is still alive. He's sitting on a Skrull spaceship in captivity. And so I think Tony will ultimately survive. It'll be a few films before we see him. Heck, it might be the next Avengers film before we see him again. Honestly, we don't have to have him come back quick. It could be, I'm okay with it being 5 years, even, if we wanted to, before we see Tony again. That would be it'd been drawn out for 5 years, so there'd actually be hype for the next Avengers film as well. So it'd actually work really well. But it doesn't have to be quick. We have to get Tony back. But I think he will survive and stay a part of the MCU, even if it's not at the current moment. He'll survive. It might be a long time before we see him, but he'll be alive and lurking in the corners. But next we have Thor. Now Thor, for me, is going to die and survive it all at the same time. Now you asked me, I kind of had a similar thing to that with Tony, but this is different than Tony because of Thor's Asgardian god, basically. So I have it where instead of just the basic, okay, he's going to die, get replaced by a Skrull, and he's going to be on a Skrull spaceship, because that was what I talked about last time here. I'm not doing that again. I think what's going to happen is they're going to start going back to his more comic book roots. In the comic books, Thor wasn't just sitting there chilling or whatever and just in Asgard all the time. He was a doctor on Earth as Donald Blake. Now, you could say, well, why would they do that? They've done it like this for the last 3 films. Why would they start doing the mortal Thor now, basically? Or where Thor has a mortal form. Why would you do it now? I can tell you why. Because of the fact that we've seen this Thor do the same thing over and over again for many, many years now. Thor's been in the MCU since day 1. And then we have an actor come in. We have him play the mortal Thor, or Thor's mortal form. And then we have Chris Hemsworth, which might want a little more free time with his acting and all that kind of stuff. So like he doesn't have to do quite as much in Thor or whatever when they do Thor 4, because according, I believe, I don't remember who said that. I believe it was Valkyrie, the Tessa Thompson, said if Thor 4 was going to happen, it would have already been pitched. And so if that's the case, then I think maybe Chris Hemsworth might want a smaller role in a way, like not necessarily humongously smaller role, but just a little short of a role. Make it where he's not currently like just has to be in the whole film, and like it's really hard. He'll be in a good portion of it, but it'll be a little less. And I think that'd be somewhere interesting to take his character, because well, we've seen this version of Thor for a while now, and I think we've went as far with this Thor as we can currently without having to say more about it. Like, and then maybe we can see just the full Chris Hemsworth Thor come back eventually. But I think it'd be cool to see Thor like this, personally. So yeah, that's my theory with Thor. Captain America, well, what can you say? Everything hints towards Captain America dying. Chris Evans has been hinting at it for a while. I don't know whether or not that's true. You never know. Marvel could be just being super secretive and saying that they've signed it to another contract, and he'll be staying around for more Captain America films, more Avengers films, and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, I think Cap's going to die. I think that would be an honorable exit for him fighting Thanos. Alright. They have it where he dies fighting Thanos, saving the rest of the rest of the half of the universe, technically speaking. Not the rest of the universe, but the half of the universe that died. And so, yeah, basically we have it where Cap, he's going to die, saving everyone else. Like, Cap has ultimately been the one to make the sacrifice. Even though he said in Infinity War that we don't trade lives, Captain America would trade his life. And, like, although Vision told him that as well, but let's be honest when I say this, Cap would trade his life in a heartbeat to save the rest of the universe. Like, it wouldn't be, he wouldn't look back. That would be the easiest choice of his life. Like, Cap would do it in a heartbeat, once again. Like, there's no way you could see Captain America not sacrificing himself for the better good. That's what he's done, that's what his character's done. He's always done what he believes is right. And he might believe that it's right for him to sacrifice his life to stop Thanos, to let everyone else live, and that would fit his character arc and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think Cap is a dead man. But next we have the Hulk. Now the Hulk, I think the Hulk is going to stay, honestly, because, well, there's no reason to say that the Hulk won't survive, because of the fact that, well, Mark Ruffalo hasn't said he wanted to out, but the Hulk doesn't have much he does anymore. He does the annual Avengers film. He may be appearing in another Thor movie, you never know, but he doesn't have solo films. And so it's kind of easy for just you to keep the Hulk alive, because, well, Mark Ruffalo would be able to go out to other acting jobs and all that kind of stuff. Do other movies and all that kind of stuff without having to worry about just the Avengers and all that kind of stuff, because I know Chris Evans and everyone does it as well, but it would be a very small role. Like, he wouldn't have to do many films, and honestly, I think the Hulk got some of the least screen time, technically speaking, in Avengers Endgame. Or, well, technically the Hulk only got that one scene, but I'm talking about Mark Ruffalo and his character in Bruce Banner, I guess. Now, we'll go ahead and refer it like that because of the fact that we know that, well, the Hulk wasn't in but more than like 5-10 minutes of the movie. But, yeah, I think ultimately Hulk will survive. There's no reason to believe that he isn't. So, yeah. Basically, that's my prediction with Hulk. But, honestly, there's no need to get rid of him right now. So, I hope that he survives. The Hulk is one of the best characters in the MCU that will survive this film, probably. Next we have Hawkeye. Now Hawkeye, well, Hawkeye's an interesting character because he took the deal when the military or whatever offered him down at the raft or whatever, the deal that they offered Scott Lang as well. You can tell that because they set that in Avengers Endgame, and you kind of saw what the effect was for Scott, except I think it was a lot better for Hawkeye. Now, they probably, their family was located on a farm, unlike Scott Lang, so he was trapped in a house while he might have had the whole outside yard. Like, he wasn't able to just go wherever he wanted, but he probably had, he probably had more room to free range or whatever you want to call it there. So, and then when he took the deal, his family probably died in the snap. That's the only reason I could really see Hawkeye coming back. Hawkeye didn't want to come back. Cap needed his help, though, and that's why he came back. He didn't come back because of the fact that he ultimately wanted to come back. He just came back because Cap needed him. And that would count as one of these situations. I think Hawkeye's character is done, honestly. Clint Barton, well, what can you say? He's been an okay character. I don't think they've given Hawkeye, enough. Honestly, I'll say this. Hawkeye's a good character, but he's not the best. Or Ronin now, technically speaking, because he's going to be Ronin for Avengers Endgame. I still don't care what your name is. You're dying. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, Hawkeye, Ronin. But you're dead, man. You're a dead man. It's just, there's no way of saying you're not at this point. But not to mention, I think he is, if we're going on the factor of, I said a minute ago that his family died to the snap, I think he would react a lot. Okay, they've had this whole thing in the MCU as well. Drax, why do you want to attack Thanos in the beginning of the film, even though it was not the smartest idea? Because his family got killed. Peter Quill punched Thanos in the face. Why? Because Gamora got killed by Thanos. And so, honestly, it would not surprise me, because everyone that seems to fight Thanos, that fights him with emotion or lost someone, usually ends up dying or losing in terrible ways. And so, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Now we got the Black Widow, which, honestly, I hope that she will stay. Scarlett Johansson is a pretty big actor, so or actress, I keep doing that, but honestly, when I say that, but she's a big actress, so there's a lot of people wanting to get her in their films and all that kind of stuff. She's hired for many films a year, probably, and so it's really hard to keep her, but as long as you keep her doing the same thing, where maybe she appears in a few side films like Captain America, Iron Man, and all that kind of stuff, how she did that for The Winter Soldier and Iron Man 2, and then keep her in the Avengers films, I think that would probably make it to the point where it'd be okay there. I think that's fine. I think she would stay with that kind of a role, especially if it was just Avengers films or whatever. I think it'd be really easy to see her stay if that was the case, but we'll have to find out and see. Next up we have, I believe it's Winter, or I'm going through notes on my phone right now, so is War Machine. I think he's going to die, but okay, he's going to suffer one of the most painful deaths that there is. I'll say that. Alright, I have him dying because of something that Scott Lang actually does. We'll get to Ant-Man here in a minute, though. Ant-Man decides, because alright, my theory is that they're going to go back in time and they're just going to try out multiple realities and find the one that works and fix it to where that way Thanos loses. I don't think it's just going to be where they try attacking Thanos straight on and then beat him. I don't think that's personally going to be it. I think there's going to be more strategic plays, because facing Thanos with all the stones would be stupid. It would be. It's unlogical and all that kind of stuff. But basically, we have it where if try to put this in here, they're going back in time, they go back to the battle, the airport fight in Captain America or Avengers 3, as a lot of people consider it. The Captain America Civil War, I think instead of Ant-Man not bringing along the Wasp, he decides that he's going to change history and bring the Wasp along with him. And so now that might change it to where Thanos doesn't get all the stones. But instead of that, it ends up killing War Machine. Because they do the same thing like what they did with Iron Man when they went to his armor. And she would do a lot more damage to his, personally. In my opinion, because of the stingers. So that would mean his armor is vulnerable. And so when Vision accidentally blasts him with his Infinity Stone, or with the Soul Stone, or not the Soul, but the Mind Stone. I don't know why I was going Soul there. But with the Mind Stone, it kills him. Instead of just leaving him, I believe it was paralyzed. I'm not for sure. I think the reason why he can walk right now is because of something that Tony had made for him. I'm pretty positive. I'm not for sure on that, though. But I think he will ultimately end up killing him in the past, so he never was involved in Infinity War. But next up, once again, we have the guy that killed him, Ant-Man. What can you say? Ant-Man, I love Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. It's really funny. I've enjoyed their films. Not the best films of the MCU, by any means, but I've always enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp. They've been pretty good so far. What can you say? I've really enjoyed their films. Like, none of them are the best films in the MCU by any means, but they're all really good and worth a watch. Like, at least once. Like, if you're like, you might as well watch it once at least, because the films are really well done. If you ask me, I've never seen a bad Ant-Man film, and so ultimately I think Ant-Man will survive. But he'll have to live with the guilt that he basically killed War Machine. And that will carry with him for the rest of the time he's in the MCU. And so, and also the survivor's guilt because of the fact that his best friend's family, or his girlfriend, technically speaking, I don't know if we're ready to say that yet, with Scott and Hope, after the events of Civil War or not, but with them dying, of course, like, it would kind of be just weird not to do what you can to save them, and then he feels survivor skills, because like basically every of the Avengers will, in a way or form, but some will be stronger than others. I think his will be really strong because of the fact that, well, he survived, his girlfriend didn't, just because their name, probably their family names were different or something. Like, it looked like Thanos, when he snapped, it went by family lines, in a way. So, like, if I think Quill died, we'll say, for example, all his family and relatives would have died as well. But, now we have, basically, I think Ant-Man will survive. Survivor's guilt, and the guilt of, like, he won't be as laughing as he was back in Ant-Man and the Wasp and all that, because of the fact that, well, he killed someone ultimately, or ended up doing something that ultimately got one of his friends killed. But anyways, that would be a cool way, I think, that Ant-Man could go on. Like, I'm not saying I want War Machine to die like that, but, or just get killed by Ant-Man, but it'd be something interesting they could do. It's something different. Unlike most of the other people that just die. This would be interesting because they don't just die. They got killed by their own friends, technically speaking, and their own teammates. But, yeah. Ant-Man lives, but ultimately kills War Machine. Okoye. Now, Okoye I could see easily dying in this film, and also surviving. Like, she's one of those characters I have dying, but I wouldn't be shocked or whatever if I saw her survive. And the main reason I have her dying is because she does also play in The Walking Dead, so I'm like, in a way, I don't know how big her role is in that, but I know The Walking Dead is a pretty big show, and so she probably has a lot of time she has to spend on that show right there, so I don't know if she can multitask all these Marvel films and then a TV show at the same time as well. all the time. So I don't know if she maybe wants that after doing that, because she went and filmed Black Panther. Probably recorded some, from what I heard, recorded Black Panther or filmed. Then she went to do The Walking Dead. Came back for Avengers Infinity War. Back to The Walking Dead. And then when she did EndGame. And then, well, guess where she's back at now. I don't know if I could take that. But we'll find out, I guess, with her character. Not to mention, that's not the only reason I have her dying. That's just because of the fact that she's on The Walking Dead. That would just not be a good... Yeah, her actor is in The Walking Dead. And so that would not be a good enough reason to keep her from staying alive. Because, like, multiple actors or actresses do multiple movies or TV shows in a year. Like, unless you're Stephen Amell or someone at the CW, like, you do one show, but like, ultimately, you're part of a universe. Like, there's not many people that have many other films though, like, or do that many, like, that big films too. Like, okay, like smaller films I can understand, like one franchise thing, but like, Walking Dead's a lot bigger than probably like some of the other movies that, like, I know Hawkeye's character, or actor, I'm trying to remember the name right now, Jeremy Renner, also does, or did, I'm not for sure, I haven't watched one in a while, the Mission Impossible series as well. So it's kind of just, I don't know if she'll be able to multitask all those films, so we'll see. Plus, her character cares a lot about her nation or her country, and so it's probably going to be really struggling after the death of Black Panther and Shuri, because you can tell Shuri died because of the fact that if you looked on the Avengers, in the first Avengers trailer, you see her on a group of missing people, so that means she dusted. Bless you, by the way. I'm joking. Yeah, gosh. Hopefully she doesn't get blown away so they can't collect the dust. But I'm joking around here. Bad jokes. But honestly, I think Okoye will die trying to bring back Black Panther or T'Chaka and Shuri to help her country or nation, whatever you want to call it here, get taken to the future, because they were looking like they had a very bright future when Black Panther and Shuri were leading it, but ultimately now it's kind of looking dark because of the fact that they're dead. And so it would just make sense for her character, the way her character is acted in both Infinity War and in Black Panther, for her to die protecting or trying to save her country / nation. So, yeah. Anyways, next up here, let me get back to my notes. We have Captain Marvel, too minor of a character, or not minor, that was not the way I wanted to put it. I guess that would be, that's probably how a lot of the guys that took offense to what she said feel about her, but basically for me, she's like at this point where, in a way, she has a lot of storylines she could possibly go down. You have the Secret Invasion, and you have Civil War 2. Although Civil War 2 would be, and both of these storylines would be just 4 or 5 years down the line. It would be cool to see them eventually happen. She just got introduced to the MCU to kill her off now. Like, although they could do more movies back in time with her, I don't want to see that. Ultimately, like, that just, in a way, like, she comes in one film, dies in one, and, or it gets introduced to one film, dies in the other, and then they keep doing back in time movies and discovering more about alien races. I guess you can do that, and I'd not be too mad, but, like, I personally would rather see her survive, personally. Next up, I believe it's Wong. I'm not for sure. Let me double check my notes. Oh, no, we got Nebula next. Now, Nebula, I think she'll survive. But, okay, she'll be a living representation of what it costs to beat Thanos. Alright, because let's view it like this, okay? Nebula was one of Thanos' daughters. I think both his daughters will be big-time sacrifices in the movie to kill Thanos. Or bring her down. Or him down there. Okay, I'm messing up bad now. But basically, she'll survive, but she'll be like a lot like what she was like in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, where she's beaten down, her body was not able to be repaired, and so, well, she's kind of messed up right now with in the head and all that kind of stuff. So she's kind of screwed at the moment. Her brain's not quite working right. She's messed up ultimately. Once again, like Thanos, beat Thanos has got to cost something, and maybe to see that someone's struggling, like they have her on life support basically, and they didn't kill her because they care about her and all that kind of stuff. Like that would be ultimately something they could do. That would be interesting to see. Like, honestly, when I say this, Nebula is a good character. I've enjoyed it so far, but this would be a way to take her to a pretty good level, if you ask me. Like, I think it'd be cool to see that personally. Like, cause you gotta have someone represent what it costs to beat Thanos. But, anyways, next we have Rocket, Raccoon. We have Rocket dying. Mainly to progress Groot's storyline, to be honest when I say that, okay? Groot has not had a storyline since the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, to be honest when I say that. And even then, it was small. Like, okay, you kind of have a problem with that because of the fact that, well, he's a talking tree that says 3 words. I am Groot. Or, hold up, 4 words. We are Groot as well. Specifically in that order. But Groot will have a storyline of kind of, getting to learn what life is like without Rocket. And the same will happen for Rocket in EndGame. Alright. And so I think that'll be personally what happens with those 2 characters. And that, yeah, we'll go ahead and just skip to the Groot right now. Like, it's not lower on my list. Like, it's not the next one, but we'll say this. I have Groot living right now for that storyline right there, where he has to learn what it's like to live without Thanos, or without Rocket, because they've been an inseparable duo in the MCU so far. So yeah, Groot will live and Rocket will die, and they'll go for a storyline on how it is to live without each other. Consider they have not been off screen or on screen without each other. Alright, next up we have... Now we are at Wong. Wong, it would just be pointless to kill him, honestly. In this film right here, it would be pointless to kill him. I don't think that it'd be worth killing Wong in EndGame. Like, if you said he was dead because of the snap, then he'd come back to life. I think just Wong needs to come back. Killing him in this film wouldn't do nothing. No one would be emotionally attached to him yet or anything like that. It wouldn't do nothing for the character. And so he should still live, in my opinion. Thanos, I think I would love to see him live because of the fact that, well, it'd be awesome to see just everyone know that Thanos is lurking in the shadows, and like we might not see him for another 10 years. Or we all of a sudden see Thanos in like the end of one film, be like, you need my help. Something's coming. And it's not good. And it will kill you all. Or something like that. That would be pretty cool, I will say. But also you have to think about the fact that, well, Thanos killed all their friends. And so, well, he must die for that. And so I think they'll ultimately end up killing him off. As much as I wouldn't want to see it, I think it's about to happen. I think Thanos is personally going to die. They're going to kill him off. And get rid of the character. Kind of get rid of him early, in my opinion. But there's still hope for Thanos to come back if he dies in this film. But let's hope that... I hope that he just survives, personally. My personal hope is, but my prediction is he dies. Star-Lord. Now we're going to go over some of the characters. I know I did Groot already that got snapped or whatever, and I'll give my predictions if they come back or not. So when I say these, they'll move a little quicker, and they'll basically be saying if I think they'll come back or not. Star-Lord. There's no Guardians without Star-Lord, in my opinion. Star-Lord's one of those characters you have to keep to make it Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy is not Guardians of the Galaxy without Star-Lord to me. But ultimately, I think he'll come back. And yes, the other reason why he'll survive is because it's his ship. Rocket, stop with that. It's his. It's his ship. Gamora, I think she'll stay dead. Honestly, she didn't die to the snap. Like, you'll notice a trend when I do this here. People that died to the snap usually will come back. But people that didn't die to the snap usually don't. But I think ultimately she'll stay dead. She's got sacrificed, and she maybe become a guide for the soul world. Like, a guide to people that are sitting in the soul world trying to help them get what they need. Because there's probably... Soul World's going to be interesting to see if they do it or not in the film. We don't know yet, but there is a possibility with Soul World coming in. We have Adam Warlock already being built up from the last Guardians film, but we'll see what happens with that. But I think Gamora will stay dead for now, at least. Not saying she doesn't have a future to possibly come back to life in, but I'm just saying for the moment being, at least for EndGame, she's going to stay dead. And there's a few characters that have like that we might get into it in a future video. We already did Groot. Drax. Ultimately, Drax is... I'm going to have him come back. Just because I've already killed off Rocket and Gamora. But it'll be interesting to see with Drax. Because of the fact that ultimately he is... the only reason he's been with the Guardians, really, is because of the fact that he lost his family and... The Guardians were going to go fight Thanos eventually. I believed he would. He got his wish, but he died in the process, so that kind of hurts. But basically, with that, you're saying that the only reason he was doing any of that was to kill Thanos or Ronan and all that. And now it's going to be interesting to see what he does now that they're both dead. And all that kind of stuff. So instead of having it just so where Drax, like, it's interesting because also you can see Drax like having an emotional scene with his family, like in the comics recently, and just having him stay dead, like in the Infinity Warp comics. But if you didn't read those, but. Next up, we have Mantis. I think, honestly, Mantis is not one of my favorite characters personally, but I think she'll end up surviving and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Like, this doesn't matter much to me. If she dies, I don't care. Personally. Next up, we have Black Panther and Zuri. I think that both of them will survive. They have to leave Wakanda. Like, not to mention, you're going to kill off the guy that made you tons of money before Infinity War came out. Like, you're just not going to do that. I'm sorry. They're not doing it. Black Panther and Zuri will survive. Falcon Winter Soldier. They have a TV show. I think they could do it in the past if they wanted to. But, I'd rather see it in current day, personally, so I'll say they'll survive. Not to mention they both got dusted, and I think dusted characters will have a good chance of coming back. Vision and Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch got dusted. Once again, if you got dusted, I think you'll have a good chance of coming back, so I think she'll come back. Dusted characters, once again, I will say, I believe that they have a great chance of coming back. And so, honestly, when I say this here, I don't have her dying. Vision, I think he'll get rebuilt, but he's not going to get resurrected from anything like that, or something like that. But then we also have the Pym family. I think the Pym family could come back all, but I would think there's a possibility that I think Hank and Hope come back, but then they kill off her mom again. It'd be fun to see in a way, like, fun wouldn't be the word to describe that, but it'd be sad to see, but, like, it'd be like, they just got her back to lose her again. It'd kind of be a weird thing there. But, and then they have to discover all the quantum realm stuff by themselves. It'd be interesting, though. And then we have anyone that was not killed by the snap. For example, the Black Order, Heimdall, Loki, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to name every single character that I can think of. I know there's the Collector and a few others like that. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But basically, I think they'll all stay dead. Loki, I have an exception for. There'll be a video in the future going over that. But Loki, I think, will have a special future for that. So I think Loki will ultimately survive out of that list. But he'll stay dead for this movie. So I'm going to say that. He is dead for Infinity War and Endgame. But I hope you enjoyed the list. If you did, don't forget to drop that like, subscribe if you are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. I will see y'all next time. Until then, peace. See y'all later.